For 3,000 years, the galaxy knew one clear truth. Humans did not start wars. They were calm. They were patient. They spoke softly in councils where other species shouted. While empires rose and fell, humans chose peace. They built schools instead of battleships. They sent doctors instead of soldiers. Many races believed humans were weak. They were wrong. On the quiet edge of human space, there was a small colony called Helios 9. It was a peaceful world. Children played under artificial suns. Teachers told stories of old wars and why humans would never fight again. Parents believed their children were safe. That night proved how wrong they were. The sky tore open without warning. Massive alien ships emerged from hyperspace, dark and sharp like blades. No warning, no message, just silence, and then fear. Galactic Empire soldiers landed in the colony cities. They moved fast and without mercy. Doors were broken. Homes were searched. But they did not take food. They did not take weapons. They took children. Small hands were pulled away from parents. Screams filled the streets. Mothers fell to their knees. Fathers tried to fight, but stun weapons dropped them in seconds. The soldiers ignored the adults. They only wanted the young. By morning, the colony was silent. Schools were empty. Toys lay broken on the ground. A single red shoe rested in the dust, forgotten by its owner. No bodies were left behind. Only pain. Across human space, the same story repeated. 7 colonies. Hundreds of children. Gone. When the news reached Earth, the human council gathered in silence. No shouting. No panic. Just heavy faces and clenched hands. Old leaders who had never worn military uniforms now stood shaking. A woman stepped forward. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were burning. They took our children. That was all she said. At the same time, far away in Galactic Empire Turi, a report was delivered to an alien commander. He watched the captured human children through a transparent barrier. The children were afraid, but they did not cry. Some stared back with quiet anger. Some held each other's hands. The commander felt uneasy. "These are the dangerous ones?" he asked. "Yes," replied a scientist. "Human children carry potential. Their emotions are powerful. The Empire will use them." The commander looked away. Back on Earth, humans did not attack. Not yet. They searched. Human ships moved silently across the stars, faster than any Empire scanner could detect. Old satellites activated. Forgotten listening posts woke up. Humanity was not asking for revenge. They were asking for answers. One human scout ship finally found something. A weak transmission. A child's voice. "Mom, I'm not scared. But they are watching us." The signal cut off. That was the moment everything changed. The human council met again. This time, they stood. A man with gray hair. Someone who had once ordered the destruction of human weapons 3,000 years ago. Spoke with a heavy breath. "We kept peace because we feared ourselves," he said. "But peace does not mean weakness." Another leader added quietly, "We warned the galaxy. Never touch our children." Deep beneath Earth's surface, doors that had not opened in thousands of years unlocked. Lights turned on in dark hangars. Ancient ships, smooth and deadly, waited patiently. Machines built for wars. Humans prayed they would never fight again. This was not anger. This was resolve. Humanity sent one message across every known galactic channel. It was short, calm, clear. "You have taken our children. Return them. This is your only warning." For the first time in 3,000 years, the galaxy felt something new. Fear. The Galactic Empire believed it ruled the stars. For centuries, no race dared to challenge it. Planets paid tribute. Fleets obeyed orders. When the Empire spoke, The galaxy listened. And yet, among all the powerful civilizations, there was one species the Empire never trusted. Humans. In the deepest research station of the Empire. Far from public eyes, human children were kept inside glowing containment halls. Scientists watched them day and night. Not with kindness, but with curiosity. These are the future, one scientist said softly. If they grow, the Empire falls. The Empire did not fear human weapons. It feared human potential. Ancient records spoke of humans long before peace humans who fought wars that reshaped stars. Humans who refused to surrender even when worlds burned. According to forgotten prophecies, human emotions were not weaknesses. They were fuel. Especially in children. Human children felt deeply. Fear, love, anger, hope, all stronger than most species. Empire scientists believed these emotions could be used, studied, controlled, or destroyed. One small boy sat alone in his cell, staring at the stars through a fake window. His name was Eli. He remembered his mother's voice. He remembered her promise that humans were safe now. The promise felt broken. A tall alien guard stood outside the barrier. Unlike others, he watched quietly. He had seen prisoners from many races. Most cried. Most begged. The human children did neither. They whispered to each other. They shared food. They comforted the smaller ones. Even in chains, they protected each other. The guard felt something unfamiliar. Guilt. Meanwhile, on Earth, human leaders studied every piece of data they could find. The children were alive. That much was clear. But the reason for the capture was still hidden. Until an old archive opened. A young analyst froze as the screen filled with red warnings. She called the council immediately. These files were erased from galactic history, she said. They described something called the human event. The room went silent. According to the files, thousands of years ago, humans had nearly wiped out a galactic empire after one human city was destroyed. Not with numbers, but with strategy, speed, and rage. The war ended only because humans stopped themselves. They chose peace. Empire knew this story, and it feared a repeat. They believe our children are the trigger, one leader said slowly. They think if they control the children, they control our future. Across the stars, the Empire Emperor listened to reports with growing unease. Human ships had not attacked, yet Empire defenses were failing silently. Satellites disappeared. Supply routes went dark. Humans were moving. They are patient, the Emperor said. That is what scares me. In the research station, scientists began their first test. They exposed the children to fear simulations. Loud noises, dark images, threats. They expected panic. Instead, something else happened. The children held hands. Heart rates rose, but not in chaos. In focus, the energy readings spiked beyond predictions. Alarms sounded. Machines struggled to measure what they were seeing. This is impossible, a scientist whispered. One girl looked directly into the observation window. Her eyes were steady. We are not afraid of you, she said. The alien guard stepped back. That night, he made a choice. He quietly deactivated one of the sensors. Just for a moment. Long enough to pass the children a message device. Humans are coming, he whispered. I don't know when. The children did not cheer. They nodded. On Earth, a final decision was made. The human council stood before sealed doors older than most stars. Symbols of ancient wars glowed faintly. A system that had been forbidden was about to awaken. A human commander spoke with calm certainty. We will not burn the galaxy, he said. We will not seek revenge. He paused. We will bring our children home. Deep in space, the Galactic Empire finally realized the truth. This was not a rescue mission. This was the beginning of something unstoppable. The galaxy believed humans were peaceful by nature. That belief was carefully built, deep under Earth's oldest mountain range. Far away from cities and sunlight, the human council stood inside a chamber no outsider had ever seen. The walls were black metal, smooth like liquid stone. Ancient symbols glowed faintly, reacting to human presence. These symbols were not decorations. They were warnings. A human commander placed his hand on the central console. The system recognized his blood, his voice, his history. Authorization confirmed. A calm artificial voice said, "Project Silence will be lifted." For 3,000 years, this place had slept not because humans forgot war, but because they remembered it too well, long ago. Humanity had reached a terrible truth. When humans fought without limits, they did not just win wars, they erased enemies. Entire civilizations vanished. Stars were damaged. Space itself was scarred. Humans had scared themselves, so they locked their weapons away. They erased records. They chose peace. They became teachers, traders, healers. They let the galaxy believe they were soft. That lie kept everyone safe, until now. Across multiple hidden locations, sealed vaults opened at the same time. Old fleets powered on. Hulls repaired themselves using forgotten nanotech. Artificial intelligences once feared, even by humans, woke from long sleep. They remembered one purpose: protect humanity. In one vault, a massive ship slowly rose from its cradle. It was larger than most Empire battleships. No flags, no weapons visible. Its name appeared in glowing letters. RESOLE on the bridge. Human officers stood silently. None of them smiled. None of them celebrated. War was not glory to humans. It was duty. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Empire research station, the human children sensed change before anyone told them. The air felt different. The lights flickered more often. Guards whispered nervously. Eli, the small boy, closed his eyes. "They are closer," he said. The alien guard froze. "How do you know?" Eli opened his eyes. "Because my heart feels loud." The guard did not understand, but he believed him. He had seen the readings. Human emotions were not chaos. They were power-focused, deep, and dangerous. Empire scientists began to panic. The energy levels around the children were rising on their own. No machines were causing it. No tests were running. Something was responding. "Shut it down," a senior scientist ordered. "Prepare containment purge." The guards stepped forward. "They are just children." The scientist turned slowly. "They are weapons that have not learned what they are yet." The guard said nothing more. On Earth, a final message arrived from human scouts. They had located the main research station. Coordinates confirmed. Human leaders gathered for one last vote. Not about war, but about limits. A woman spoke, her voice steady but filled with pain. "If we unleash everything, the Empire will fall. But others will fear us forever." The old general nodded. "Then we choose control. Precision. No worlds burned. No civilians harmed." Another leader whispered, "And if the Empire refuses to give the children back?" The room was silent. Then the general answered, "Then the galaxy will learn why we chose peace." Far away, the Galactic Emperor stood alone, staring at a star map filled with red warning symbols. Empire defenses were failing faster now. Human ships appeared and disappeared without battle. No attacks. No messages, only pressure. A strategist finally spoke the truth no one wanted to hear. "They are surrounding us." The Emperor's voice was low. "Why don't they strike?" The strategist swallowed. "Because they are not angry yet." At the research station, alarms screamed. Systems shut down one by one. The artificial gravity failed for a moment. Children floated slightly before settling again. Eli smiled for the first time since his capture. There, Here, he said. The alien guard made his choice. He opened the cell doors. Stay close, he whispered. Humans keep their promises. Outside the station, space-bent human ships emerged, not in chaos, but in perfect formation, silent, endless, controlled. No banners, no threats. Just inevitability. Inside the human flagship, the commander watched the station grow larger on the screen. Open a channel, he said calmly. A single message was sent to the Galactic Empire. You took our future. Now, watch how we reclaim it. The Galactic Empire had prepared for war many times. This felt different. Sensors screamed across Empire space as human ships appeared without warning. They did not arrive in chaotic waves. They arrived in silence. Perfect lines. Perfect distance. Like a calm ocean before a storm, Empire admirals stared at their screens in disbelief. Where are their attack formations? One demanded. They are already in formation. Another replied quietly. Human ships did not fire. They waited. Across the Empire's outer border, defensive platforms suddenly shut down. No explosions. No debris. Just darkness. Commanders shouted orders as communication relays failed one after another. Humanity was not destroying the Empire. It was turning it off. On the human flagship Resolution, the Supreme Commander watched calmly. His voice never rose. Phase 1 complete, he said. No civilian targets. No casualties. Human officers moved with quiet speed. Every action had been planned centuries ago and updated in secret ever since. This was not revenge. This was execution of a promise. At the research station holding the children, panic spread. Empire scientists tried to restart systems, but nothing responded. Emergency power flickered like a dying heartbeat. The alien guard led the children through dark corridors. Don't stop, he whispered. No matter what you hear. Behind them, alarms turned into screams. A human strike team reached the station's outer hull without firing a single weapon. They moved through walls like ghosts, disabling soldiers with precise, non-lethal force. One Empire officer gasped as a human soldier grabbed him and whispered, "This is not war." The officer never saw the blow that knocked him unconscious. In the Empire capital, the Emperor stood before his council. Fear was no longer hidden. They haven't destroyed anything important, the Emperor said. Why? A strategist answered with a shaking voice. Because they want us to understand every step. As if to prove the point, a human transmission appeared on every Empire screen. This is humanity, the message said. Calmly, we are not here to conquer. We are here to retrieve. Then one Empire battle fleet moved to intercept. It was a mistake. Human ships adjusted positions by centimeters. No weapons fired until the Empire fired first. The human response lasted 3 seconds. Every Empire ship lost power. Not damaged. Not destroyed. Disabled. The galaxy watched in shock as the once feared fleet drifted helplessly through space. Neutral races whispered in disbelief. These are the peaceful ones? On the research station, the children were reunited with human soldiers. One woman knelt and hugged Eli tightly. Her hands shook. "We're taking you home," she said. Eli looked past her. "Are you angry?" The soldier paused. Then she answered honestly, "Yes, but we are in control." The alien guard watched the reunion. For the first time in his life, he felt relief instead of fear. Then the Empire Emperor made a fatal choice. He ordered a counterattack. Empire. Weapons targeted a nearby human. Ship 1 carrying children. The missile never reached its target. It vanished. Every human ship turned at the same time. Facing the Empire capital, humanity had been patient. Now it was finished waiting. A new message echoed across the galaxy. It was colder than the first. You were warned. Hidden weapons on human ships activated tools never seen before. Space twisted, gravity bent. Empire defenses collapsed like paper. But still, no cities burned. No civilians died. This was not chaos. This was judgment. In the Empire capital. The Emperor sank into his throne. They could have destroyed us, he whispered. Yes, the strategist replied. But they chose to teach us instead. On the resolution, the Supreme Commander spoke quietly. Phase 2 begins, he said. Target military command only. He looked at the stars. Remembering the old rule, humanity, once lived by. Never be the first to strike. Humanity had kept that rule. Now the galaxy would learn what happened after. The galaxy had been watching. Now, it could no longer stay silent. For centuries, many races feared the Galactic Empire. They paid tribute. They followed orders. They accepted loss because resistance meant destruction. But what humans did was different. They did not burn worlds. They did not kill civilians. They did not take territory. They took control. Across neutral systems, leaders gathered in emergency councils. Holograms flickered as species spoke in nervous voices. If the Empire can fall, one leader said, then no one is truly safe anymore. Another replied, or perhaps, no one has to live in fear anymore. Slowly, quietly, ships began to move, not toward the Empire, toward humanity. Supply fleets arrived in human space. Medical ships offered help. Intelligence networks shared Empire secrets that had been hidden for generations. The galaxy was choosing sides. Inside the Galactic Empire, cracks began to form. Military officers argued openly. Some refused orders. Others questioned why children had ever been taken in the first place. Entire fleets hesitated when human ships appeared. One admiral spoke, the words that spread like fire. This war began because we touched their children. In the damaged research station, human medics examined the rescued children. Most were physically unharmed, but the scans told a darker story. Stress markers, neural scars, signs of forced experiments. A human doctor clenched her fists. They studied fear, she said quietly. They tried to break them. A soldier beside her whispered, they failed. The children were shaken, but unbroken. Eli sat with other children inside a transport ship. He watched stars pass by slowly. For the first time since his capture, he allowed himself to cry. A human officer sat beside him. You were brave, she said. Eli shook his head. We were scared. She smiled softly. Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you don't let fear decide. Meanwhile, deep inside the Empire capital, the Emperor faced rebellion. Planetary governors refused commands. Military factories shut down. Information that had been classified for centuries leaked across the galaxy. Proof of experiments, proof of child captivity, proof of lies. The Emperor slammed his clawed hand onto the console. They are turning everyone against us. A tired advisor replied, no, we did that ourselves. As human forces advanced deeper into Empire space, something strange became clear. Empire defenses collapsed faster than expected. Entire battle groups surrendered without firing a shot. They knew. They had seen the footage. They had heard the message. Humans were not seeking revenge. They were enforcing a boundary. One Empire captain sent an open transmission. We will not fight, he said. Return the children and let this end. Human command acknowledged the message. Stand down, came the reply. You will not be harmed. Trust spread faster than fear ever had, but not everyone wanted peace. A secret Empire faction activated a final defense system, an ancient weapon hidden beneath the capital world. Its power signature shocked even human sensors. On the Resolution, alarms sounded. That weapon could destroy half the system, an officer reported. The Supreme Commander's face darkened. They are willing to burn everything, just to avoid losing. He took a breath. Prepare Phase 3. Human ships moved closer to the Empire's sacred core world, the place no enemy had ever reached. On the planet's surface, citizens watched the sky fill with silent human missiles. No bombs fell. No lasers fired. Only a message appeared, broadcast to every screen. We know about the weapon. Deactivate it. This is your last chance. In the Capitol Palace, the Emperor stared at the message. His empire was collapsing. His allies were gone. His secrets were exposed. For the first time in his long life, he felt small. What if we surrender? He asked quietly. The advisor answered honestly. They will take the children. They will dismantle our weapons. And they will leave, the Emperor whispered. And our power? The advisor replied. Power built on fear never lasts. Above the planet, human fleets waited. The children were safe. But the war was not over yet. One final choice remained, and whatever the Empire chose next would decide its fate. The Empire did not deactivate the weapon. Instead, it powered it up. Deep beneath the Empire's capital world, ancient engines awakened. Energy flowed through massive conduits, carved into the planet itself. The weapon was old, built in an age when the Empire believed fear was the strongest law. Its purpose was simple. If the Empire could not rule the galaxy, then no one would. On the Resolution, human sensors detected the surge instantly. Energy spike confirmed, an officer said. They are preparing to fire. The Supreme Commander closed his eyes for one brief moment. Not in fear, but in sadness. They chose pride, he said quietly. Proceed. Human ships moved. Not forward. Down. They descended toward the planet in perfect alignment, slipping past defense grids as if the grids were not there. Empire weapons fired wildly, but human shields absorbed everything with minimal strain. This was not a battle of equals. This was a lesson. Human strike teams landed near the weapons control core. No explosions announced their arrival. No warnings followed. They moved through underground corridors, disabling guards with calm precision. One Empire soldier dropped his weapon and raised his hands. Please, he said. I was only following orders. A human soldier looked at him steadily. So were we when we decided never to become you. The soldier was restrained, not killed. Above ground, panic spread through the capital city. Citizens flooded streets, staring at the silent human ships hovering in the sky. No bombs fell. No buildings burned. Fear came from waiting. Inside the weapon chamber, the Emperor arrived, surrounded by guards. The core glowed with unstable power. One wrong move could destroy the system. You've forced us, the Emperor shouted. If we fall, everything falls with us. The chamber doors opened. Human soldiers entered, weapons lowered but ready. At their center walked the Supreme Commander. You still don't understand, the commander said calmly. This was never about power. The Emperor hissed. Then why come this far? The commander's voice hardened. Because you touched our children. Outside the chamber, the rescued human children were being evacuated to safety. Medics checked them again and again. Parents waited on human ships, hearts breaking and healing at the same time. When Eli saw his mother, he ran. She fell to her knees and held him tightly, sobbing into his hair. Around them, soldiers turned away, giving the family privacy. One officer whispered, "This is why we fight." Back in the weapon chamber, Empire loyalists made a final attempt to activate the core manually. Energy surged out of control. Alarms screamed. This place will collapse. An Empire scientist cried. Human engineers moved instantly. They did not panic. Their technology interfaced with systems no one else understood. The weapon's power flow slowed, stabilized. Then shut down. The core went dark. Silence filled the chamber. The Emperor stared in disbelief. You could have taken this weapon. Yes, the commander replied. But we don't need it. He stepped closer. We didn't come to replace your empire. We came to end what you made it into. Empire guards lowered their weapons. Some dropped to their knees. Across the galaxy, news spread fast. The Empire's ultimate weapon had fallen. The capital world was intact. Children were safe. The myth of Empire invincibility shattered. Completely, the Supreme Commander turned to the Emperor one last time. You will stand trial, he said. Not by us alone, but by the galaxy you ruled through fear. The Emperor said nothing. Human forces began to withdraw. Systems once controlled by the Empire declared independence. Old borders dissolved. New councils formed. Human ships did not stay. They never planned to dock as the Resolution prepared to leave orbit. An officer asked the question everyone was thinking. What happens now? The commander looked at the stars. No, he said. We remind the galaxy of the rule we lived by for 3,000 years. He paused. And the one we live by now. On every major galactic channel, a final message began to broadcast. It was not finished yet. The galaxy held its breath. The galaxy waited. After the fall of the Empire's ultimate weapon, no one knew what humanity would do next. Some feared revenge. Others feared occupation. Many expected humans to claim territory, demand tribute, or rule in place of the fallen empire. Humanity did none of those things. Human fleets slowly withdrew from Empire space. One by one, ships vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind silent skies and broken chains. Worlds that had lived in fear for generations looked up and realized something strange. They were free. On the former Empire capital world, a new council formed. Not made of conquerors, but survivors. Representatives from many species gathered to decide the future. For the first time, no throne stood above them. The Emperor was gone. He did not die in battle. He was taken away quietly to face judgment by the very galaxy he had ruled through fear. History would remember him not as a god-king, but as a warning. On Earth, the human children returned home. Cities stopped. Ships paused in orbit. Schools opened their doors wide. Parents held their children like they would never let go again. No speeches were made. No victory parades marched through the streets. Humans did not celebrate war. They celebrated return. Eli stood on a hill near his home, holding his mother's hand. He looked up at the stars, calmer now, softer. Will they come back? He asked. His mother knelt beside him. Not if they remember what they learned. Across human space, memorials were built not to honor battles, but to remember why the war happened. Names of children were carved into stone. Not just human children, all children. Because humanity understood something the Empire never had. Strength meant nothing without restraint. In the galactic councils, a new law was written. It was short, clear, non-negotiable. Civilization may ever harm the young of another species. Violation of this law invites immediate and united response. Every race signed it, not because humans forced them, but because humans proved what happened when the line was crossed. Then came the final human message. It was broadcast once, only once, across every star system, every station, every world. Humans did not shout. They did not threaten. They spoke calmly. This is humanity. We chose peace for 3,000 years. Not because we were weak, but because we were strong enough to stop ourselves. We will choose peace again. There was a pause, but understand this. If you touch our children, If you cage them, if you break them. The stars behind the message shifted, showing images of silent fleets, fallen weapons, and a shattered empire. We will return. We will not conquer you. We will not rule you. We will end what you become. The transmission ended. No cheers followed. No applause. Just understanding. Years passed. The galaxy changed. Empires ruled with caution. Councils listened more than they commanded. Human ships returned to exploration, medicine, and trade. Once again, humans became the quiet ones at the table. But now, no one mistook silence for weakness. Old alien commanders told new recruits the story as a warning. Never provoke humans. But why? The recruits would ask. The commanders answered the same way every time. Because they are kind. And when kind people are forced to fight, they would add, empires fall. On Earth, life continued. Children laughed again. Schools echoed with noise and hope. Humanity returned to peace, not because war was finished, but because the lesson had been learned. The stars remembered. And somewhere, written not on stone or steel, but in memory itself, the galaxy carried a final truth.